Welcome to your practice. So, I am calling today's practice Rajas to Sattva. So, what are those words? What do they mean? So, Rajas and Sattva are two of the three Mahagunas in Yoga and Ayurveda. So, Maha means great or supreme, and Guna means quality. So these supreme qualities refer to the three fundamental energies found in nature. Those three fundamental energies are Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. Now we're going to primarily focus in this class today on Rajas and Sattva, but it's important to remember that we need all three of these energies. They all have their gifts. They also all are sometimes described as the doshas of the mind. And when we look at the root word dosha, it actually means fault, as in a fault line. So it refers to where we go out of balance. Now, there's much more of a tendency for us to go out of balance with rajas and tamas. So, and especially rajas, because we live in a really rajasic world. So, what is rajas? Rajas is the movement of, or the energy of movement and change. Um, and we need that. We need that energy of movement change. It's also the energy of creativity. We also need that in the mind, of course. We need the ability to create. We need the ability to move our attention from one thing to the next. However, Rajas is kind of in this endless pursuit for more. It's always looking for more pleasure, more power, more material possessions, always kind of focused on the end goal and what's next, and more, this constant taking in of information. It's also really focused on perfectionism and doing everything very perfectly. It's kind of what we would refer to as a type A personality. And what happens when we have so much of that, along with a lot of rajasic foods, which include alcohol and caffeine and spicy, sour, and salty foods. So if we're taking in a lot of that, it can lead to a restless and anxious mind. It can lead to being hypercritical, quick to anger. It can lead to the inability to really focus on one thing at a time or constantly moving from one thing to the next. It can lead to difficulty sleeping. Sattva, on the other hand, is the energy of clarity and light. It is a state of pure being. It is actually the natural state of our mind. But we forget that because we get really caught up in the vrittis or the fluctuations or waves of the mind. We are so caught up in our thoughts. We think we are our thoughts. And yoga and Ayurveda teaches us that actually when we can drop our awareness underneath all of that, underneath the fluctuations or the waves of the mind, we can rest in our true nature, which is essentially sattvic. So unless our mind is clear, it's really difficult for us to be able to perceive anything truthfully and accurately. But when we have a sattvic mind, we can really see clearly exactly what the next right action is. We have the ability to respond instead of react. So we have this emotional stability. We have sustained energy, quality sleep, healthy cravings, and that ability to really focus and concentrate on the task right in front of us. We have that ability to be present. So today's practice, we're going to focus on moving from Rajasic mind to Sattvic mind. And so this practice can be done anytime that you feel like you're just, there's a lot of restless thoughts and an inability to focus and a lack of clarity and all of those things that I mentioned. So for this practice, I'm going to invite you to have 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, that's okay. We can make do without them. You may also want to have a bolster. And if you don't have a bolster, a good firm pillow will do, or a couple of stacked blankets. I also have a blanket just because I like to have that for practice. Um, if you don't have any of the props, it's okay. We can make do without. We're going to start our practice seated. So you may want to give yourself a prop, and you can sit as I am, just in a comfortable seated position, with or without a prop underneath you. Or you can sit in Vajrasana or Thunderbolt pose. And I like to start in this pose, and I also like to use a block. So placing that block underneath my seat can be nice. You can also stack a few blocks up so that your hips are a little bit higher, which can be a little bit nicer on the knees. Okay, so just taking a few moments here to really settle in to your seat. And if it feels good to close your eyes, or you can keep a soft, still gaze. And just taking a few moments here, beginning to observe the quality of the energy within you. So if there is any restlessness, if there is any sense of urgency or busyness, just beginning to observe that without trying to change it or fix it or push it away. Just simply observing whatever is here. And then bringing some attention to your breath, we're going to invite that breath a little lower into the body. So maybe right now you notice that the breath is more in the upper chest. See if you can draw the breath a little bit lower, maybe into the space of your low ribs. Or maybe down into the space of your abdomen. As you inhale, really filling up 360 degrees. As you exhale, emptying out. Just finding a nice, smooth, balanced rhythm. If possible, in and out through your nose. We'll take one more breath here. And then from here, go ahead and softly open your eyes. We're going to move into a Kriya or cleansing technique called Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is also sometimes described as a pranayama. It's breath control, but it's also a cleansing technique because this is really meant to clear the mind. It's actually called skull shining breath. So it clears the mind. It is actually really can be very calming to the nervous system. However, there are a few contraindications for this breath technique. One of those contraindications is pregnancy. So there is a lot of movement in the belly. Menstruation would be another one. So if you are on your cycle right now, you just want to breathe just normally and naturally, or finding that balanced breath as we just did. Another contraindication might be high or low blood pressure, glaucoma, or just like if you start to feel dizzy at all, just stop the breathing and just breathe normal and naturally. Okay, so Kapalabhati breathing is basically a intentional, forceful exhalation. And as we exhale through the nose quickly, the belly will kind of pull inward, and then the inhalation just kind of happens spontaneously. So it looks like this. Now, we don't want to be super forceful and aggressive. Okay, so it's not like it is a sharp, slightly forceful exhalation, but it's not too intense. And we're not breathing super quickly. It's just a nice moderate pace. Okay, and we're going to do 3 rounds of 10 Kapalabhati breaths. So we're going to just start by taking 2 nice full breaths in and out through the nose. And another. And from here, you could also turn your palms up towards the sky. We're going to take a full breath in, and we'll begin with 10 short, quick breaths. So inhale and begin. Good. Exhaling out. Inhale in. Nice long exhale out. And we'll inhale here and then begin our second round. Good. Exhaling. Inhale. Nice long exhale. We'll take another full breath in and starting our final round. Inhale and begin. Exhale. Inhale. Long exhale. And we'll take one more nice full breath in and out through the nose. All right. So from here, we're going to move into Alom Vilom Pranayam, also called alternate nostril breathing, just to kind of balance the hemispheres of the brain, again, really soothing the nervous system. And with this breath technique, we're going to bring our right hand up and we're going to find what's called Vishnu Mudra. So you're going to take your index finger and your middle finger in towards the center of your palm. We're going to take a nice full breath in through both nostrils. Nice full breath out through both nostrils. And then you're going to cover your right nostril with your right thumb and inhale through the left nostril. And then cover your left nostril with your right ring finger. Open the right nostril and exhale out. Inhale through the right nostril. Close off the right nostril. Open the left and exhale. Inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. And then lowering your hand to your right thigh or your knee, just inhaling as evenly as possible through both nostrils. Exhale evenly through both nostrils. We'll take one more breath here. Good. And then from here, coming to your hands and knees, we're going to find tabletop position. So placing the wrists below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. Spreading the fingers out nice and wide, rooting down evenly through both parts of your hands. Just taking a moment here to return to that smooth, balanced, steady breath rhythm. And then we'll add movement to the breath. So inhale, belly drops towards the ground, tail and crown reaches to the sky. And then exhale, tail and crown reach towards the earth. Inhale, opening up through front body. Exhale, opening up through back body. And just continue now at your own pace, really syncing up your movement with your breath. Good. And then on your next inhalation, returning to a neutral spine. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under, finding a full plank pose. Okay, and just take a moment there. Maybe right away you drop your knees to the ground, or you can find that full plank position. Just taking a breath. And then we'll drop the knees to the ground if you're not already there. Two options. First option is just to keep this modified plank position as you lower down to your belly. Second option is to kind of lift the tailbone and the crown of the head towards the sky. So kind of finding that cow-like position, lowering the chest and chin to the ground. And then from here, we'll bring the belly to the ground, tops of the feet to the ground, taking the chest forward into a cobra pose. You can stay here with your hands just lightly on the ground, or maybe pressing into the palms, lifting a little higher, keeping the collarbones nice and broad. From here, we're going to press the hips up and back, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. And in your down dog, you can start to pedal the heels, so bending one knee at a time. Maybe a little wagging of the tailbone side to side. And then just take a moment here, settle into stillness just for a breath. The knees can stay slightly or deeply bent. We're drawing the hips away from the fingertips. And then on your next breath, slowly walking your feet to your hands. You could also walk hands back to your feet. Feet are hips width apart and parallel to one another. As you inhale, halfway lift. So fingertips can be on the floor, at the shins or the thighs. And then exhale, release into your forward fold. Inhale, we'll lift the chest, circling the arms outward, upward, reaching up to the sky. Exhale, bringing your hands to your heart. Releasing the arms down, We're going to move into a version of sun salutations. I'm going to cue the first round with blocks. I'll cue the second round without blocks. And the third round, you can just find what feels good to you. So if you like having blocks, you can keep the blocks. So we'll bring the blocks to the top of the mat, right in front of the mat, about shoulders width distance apart. We can stand behind those blocks, like 6 inches to a foot. Releasing the arms down by our sides, taking a moment here in Tadasana, mountain pose, feeling our feet in contact with the ground, rising through the crown of the head, feeling the movement of breath. And then on your next breath, inhale the arms outward, upward, reach. Exhale, forward fold, hands can come to blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, moving the blocks back so they're outside the pinky edges of your feet. Step your right foot back and lower your knee all the way down. And you can uncurl the back toes. Sometimes that feels a little nicer on the knee. As you inhale, rooting through that left foot, inhale the arms up. Hands can stay wide, or you can bring the hands a little closer, maybe bringing the palms to touch. And then on your next exhalation, lower your hands down, move your blocks to the side. Inhale, we're going to step back into that plank pose. Exhale, knees to the floor, either lowering from this modified plank position, or again, tilting the tailbone and the crown of the head up, lowering the chest and chin, Ashtangasana. From here, belly comes to the ground, tops of the feet to the ground, opening up through the chest, maybe pushing into the hands, lifting in Cobra, Bhujangasana. And then exhale, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. On your next breath, inhale the knees to the ground. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands. Again, you can take the top of your left foot to the ground. Rooting through that right foot, inhale, reaching up, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, lowering the hands down. You can grab your blocks if you'd like. As you inhale, step forward. You can use those blocks. Walk them forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, releasing the head. Inhale, lift the chest, circle the arms outward, upward, reach. Exhale, hands to heart center. Second side, inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, move the blocks back, step your left foot back, left knee to the ground, uncurling the back toes if you'd like. Inhale, reach up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, lower the hands down, blocks can move to the side. Inhale, making your way to plank. Exhale, knees to the ground, find your way to the ground. Inhale, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale your knees to the ground. Exhale, step left foot forward. Inhale, reach up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, lower again. You can use your blocks here if you'd like. Stepping forward, walking the blocks forward, halfway lift as you inhale. At forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, lift the chest, circle the arms outward, upward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. You can use the blocks or you can just bring hands onto the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. If you're using the blocks, move them back. Step your right foot back, right knee to the ground. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lower. Again, if you're using blocks, move them off to the side of your mat. Inhale to your plank. Exhale, knees to the ground, lowering. Find your path. Inhale, cobra, lifting, opening. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, knees to the ground. Exhale, step that right foot forward. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lowering down. Again, you can use blocks here if you'd like. Inhale, step forward with that left foot, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the left foot back, left knee to the mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower the hands. Inhale to your plank. Exhale, find your path to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, knees to the mat. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do one more round on each side. So really flowing with breath. The whole intention here is to meet the mind's movement with movement. Meet the mind's activity with movement. So just taking a breath here. And then next breath, inhale the arms up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot back, right knee to the mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, step back into plank. Exhale, find your path to the floor. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Downward Dog. Inhale, knees to the mat. Exhale, right foot forward, ankle under knee. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lowering hands to the floor. Step forward with that left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, ride the breath all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back, left knee to the mat. Inhale, rising up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale and lower the hands. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, find your path to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, knees to the mat. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. Stepping right foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a moment, take a breath. And then from here, we're going to step out to face the side one long edge of the mat. It really doesn't matter which. We're going to stay facing this same long edge and do both sides here. Okay, so we're going to take a pretty wide stance, and then we'll turn the right toes out towards the short edge of the mat, and the left heel angles back. We are kind of lined up, right heel to left inner arch. As you inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, bend the front knee. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So as we bend that front knee, we just want to make sure we're not totally sinking into that right hip crease. So just staying a little bit lifted through the right side of that hip. Take a moment here to gaze out past your right middle finger. And then we're going to flip the right palm, inhale into reverse warrior. Right arm reaching up to the sky. And then exhale, we'll come into side angle pose, bringing right elbow onto the right thigh. Left arm can reach straight up or extend overhead. We'll inhale back through reverse warrior. Exhale into side angle pose. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Now inhale back to warrior 2. And exhale, straighten through that front leg. Now we're going to pivot to the other side. So left toes turn out, right toes turn in slightly. We'll take a full breath in. Exhale, bending that front knee, again, without sinking. So find that lift. Take a moment to gaze past your left middle finger. And then flipping that left palm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, straighten out the left leg. From here, we're going to pivot the feet. So now both toes point towards the long edge of the mat. You may also want to have blocks. So you can grab those blocks and bring them out in front. From here, we'll bring the hands to the hips. As you inhale, anchoring down through the tailbone, gentle lift of the heart. As you exhale, hinging forward. If you need to bend your knees equally. Okay. Hands can be on blocks. They can also be on the floor. As you inhale, find that halfway lift. As you exhale, keep your left hand grounded. Take your right arm up to the sky. Inhale, right hand comes down. Exhale, left arm reaches up. Inhale, left hand comes down. Exhale, right arm goes up. You can look to the side or even maybe up towards that right thumb. Inhale, right hand to the ground. Exhale, left arm up. Inhale, left hand down. Exhale, right arm up. Inhale, right hand down. Exhale, left arm up. Inhale, left hand down. And now exhale from here. Just drop into the forward fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. If you need to heel toe your feet in a little bit more and bend your knees, that's fine. We're going to bring the hands back up to the hips and slowly rise to stand. And then stepping to the top of your mat. From here, we're going to take the feet, hips width apart, or you could bring them closer together, but feet are parallel to one another. And then again, releasing the arms down by your sides, finding Tadasana. Feeling that sense of stability through your feet, through your legs. We're going to start to slow things down a little bit now. As you inhale, go ahead and reach your arms outward and upward. As you exhale, join your palms together, and it's as if you're going to sit down into a chair, bringing your hands to your heart. So finding Utkatasana, and sitting back into the heels, but keeping some weight in the balls of the feet as well. On your next breath, inhale the arms back up, reach. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Next breath, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest, circle the arms outward, upward, reach. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, reach up, stand up, really push into your feet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to take one more round of this. Really focus on that sense of grounding through your feet. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands come to the heart. We sit down towards the earth. And then feel that strength and stability in the legs. Inhale, push your feet down into the ground. Reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, we'll reach up. Exhale, right into your forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. As you exhale, go ahead and bend your knees enough to bring your hands to the ground. You might walk your feet away from your hands to do that. And then step back into your plank pose. And again, you have that option right away to bring the knees to the ground, or you can keep the knees lifted, really pushing the ground away from you. So feel that sense of stability, shoulder blades on the back of your body. Palms of the hands and feet pulling towards one another. So you feel that engagement through the core. Keep that pulling back of your hands on your mat as you bend your elbows and lower all the way down to the ground. From here, we'll bring the tops of the feet onto the ground. And either finding cobra here, lifting and opening through the chest, or pushing the ground away, we'll straighten the arms, lifting the knees and thighs in upward facing dog. As you exhale, knees can find the floor, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths there. You also have the option to bring the knees to the floor and come into child's pose. Okay, so finding what feels good in your body. Good. And then on your next breath, inhale your knees to the ground. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Now, again, this is where you maybe want a couple of blocks. So grab your blocks. We're going to bring them underneath our hands. Go ahead and curl your left toes under. Lift that back knee up and then step your left foot forward so that your heels are not on a tightrope. Okay, your heels are not in alignment. They are on railroad tracks. And you can always keep a little bend in that front knee. As you inhale, push into your blocks. Find a halfway lift. Pull that right outer hip back in space a little bit. So we want to think of squeezing the upper inner thighs towards one another. We also want to keep that back heel on the ground. So if it's lifted, maybe that means you shorten your stance even more. As you inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. As you exhale, you can fold. You can keep your hands on the blocks, or you can bring your hands to the ground. Okay, so finding what feels good here. Letting this be a little bit more of a turning inward. And then as you inhale, find that halfway lift. As you exhale, you can step that left foot back, bring the knee to the floor, blocks to the side, and then just making your way back into your downward facing dog. Next breath, inhale, the knees come down. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Grab your blocks if you'd like. Curling those right toes under, lifting the knee. Stepping that right foot forward, and again, kind of out to the side so that the heels are on railroad tracks, not a tightrope. Left knee can have a little bend or a lot of a bend, especially if you don't have blocks. You're going to just bend your knee as much as you need to. As you inhale, find that halfway lift, pulling that left hip back in space, hugging the upper inner thighs towards one another, lengthening through the crown of your head. And then on your next exhalation, releasing into that forward fold. Just allowing for your eyes to find stillness. So we have this steady gaze, steady breaths. And then inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your right foot back, knee to the floor, blocks to the side. Bringing that left foot back, we'll find downward dog once more. Letting your eyes find stillness. And then inhale, knees to the ground, and come to a seated position. All right. So we're going to, actually I'll face you. So we're going to pull the right knee in. I lied, I'm going to move sideways. We're going to pull the right knee in and keep the left leg extended. Now, if you kind of find that you sink back, the tailbone wants to move forward of your pelvis, this can be a great time to use a blanket. Okay, so you can always prop yourself up a little bit just to help the pelvis stay more neutral instead of tucked. Okay, you can also go up even higher, maybe folding that blanket up even more or sitting on a block. So finding that lift of the chest, we'll keep holding on to the right shin with the left hand. We'll take the right arm forward. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, taking the right hand down to the floor. And just gazing gently over that right shoulder. Again, finding still, steady gaze. Soft, steady breath. And then from here, slowly unwind. Take a moment here just to pause before moving to the second side. And we'll extend the right leg out. We'll pull the left foot in. Again, continue holding on to your left shin with your right hand. Take that left arm forward. Inhale the arm up to the sky. Exhale, circle it back behind you, left fingertips to the floor. Gazing back over that left shoulder. Finding your drishti, your focal point. That steady gaze. Even noticing if it feels challenging to focus on one spot. It feels challenging to keep your awareness on your breath. Just simply observing what's here. And then from here, we'll slowly unwind. Pause for a moment for a breath. Good. And then from here, we're going to come into a straddle position. Okay, so taking the legs out, this does not have to be the widest straddle you can possibly do. Just finding that openness with ease. So always balancing the effort with ease. And bringing the hands behind your hips. You can kind of post the spine by rooting your fingertips down into the ground. Once again, we want to kind of notice if there's this tendency to tuck. If there is, again, I would highly recommend sitting up on a prop of some kind. And seeing if we can kind of tip the pelvis forward a little more. And if you can find that position, maintain it as you take the hands away, you can bring the hands out in front. Maybe you want to walk your hands forward a little more. And you can also bring blocks underneath your elbows. Or you can grab a bolster here and bring the bolster right up. You can also bring your forehead into your hands. And if the mind still feels very restless, it's okay. So see if you can release any judgment or stories that you're creating around what it is that you're experiencing. And just keep returning your attention to your breath again and again, just finding that smooth, steady rhythm. If focusing on your breath creates more anxiety for you, you can always bring your attention to something else. Maybe it's the stability of your bones. And just feeling that contact with the ground. Just taking another moment. And then from here, we'll slowly rise up. Nice tall spine. Again, take a moment, take a breath before moving on to the next thing. And from here, we're going to transition into a supported Supta Baddha Konasana. So bringing that bolster behind your back, if you have it, your hips are going to stay down on the ground. So they're not going to be up on the bolster. Sitting bones will be on the ground. That bolster is just supporting the lower back. Couple of options here. So we can lie back, feet flat on the floor. You can rest your arms near your sides, or you can bring them out a little bit wider. Just find where it still feels easeful, so you're not straining to keep your arms up in the air. You can rest your arms on the ground. The feet could always stay flat on the floor. Otherwise, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees open up. Now, if again, it feels like you're kind of holding that position, we want to find a little bit more support. And so sometimes it's angling those blocks kind of underneath, or just wedging them underneath your outer thighs, okay, or even the outer knees. So really take a moment here to settle in. Now, if you don't have the bolster, you can do this flat on the floor. Remember, you could use a pillow, you could use a few stacked blankets. We want to make sure that the head, the shoulders, and the lower back are supported here. If your bolster is too high and it's a little too much, then I encourage you just to come to the floor. So again, really finding what invites the most amount of ease into your body. And really letting yourself settle. We'll just take a few more breaths. If you've been swept away by the waves of thought, you find yourself thinking about the past or the future, just to return your attention here, bringing your full awareness to this time and this space, and to your body in this time and space. And then from here, we'll slowly bring our feet flat onto the floor, hips width apart. And you can kind of take the arms forward, holding the backs of your thighs, drawing chin to chest, curling up off the bolster, or you could also roll to one side and come on up. We're going to prepare for Shavasana here. So if you need to add layers of clothing, socks, or anything, you can do that now. If you do have that bolster and you want to use it for Shavasana, you can take that bolster under the knees, which can be a nice support for the lower back. I also love to use the blanket. It can either be a support underneath the head, you can use it to cover up and stay warm, or you can even drape it, especially if it's heavy enough. You can drape it across your belly and the tops of your thighs, just feeling that sense of grounding. And just take a few moments here to really make those final little adjustments so that you can find the most amount of ease possible in your body at this time. And as you settle in, releasing any control over your breath, just allow it to flow organically. And as we settle into this final resting posture, I want to share a quote with you from Anand Mehrotra. As you tune into the silence within, you begin to discover the luminosity which permeates the whole universe as it calls you deeper within. In this depth lies the greatest love there is. So allowing yourself to drop into your deepest self, resting in your true nature, resting in that pure consciousness. So if you have a little more time and you want to rest a little longer, please do. Otherwise, bringing awareness back to your breath, just noticing the subtle sensations of breath in your body. Inviting some gentle movement back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. You can circle your wrists and your ankles. You can find a stretch here if you'd like. And then gently rolling to one side of your body. Just take a few moments on your side. And then taking your time, so no rush. Slowly rising to a comfortable seat. And as you come to sit, just rooting your sitting bones down into the ground, gently rising through the crown of your head, finding that tall aligned spine, soft, open heart. And then join your palms together in front of your heart. We'll take just a few more moments for stillness, for presence, for resting in our true nature. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. May the merit of this practice be to the liberation of all beings. Thank you so much, everyone. Hari Om. Thank you again for practicing with me. I hope you have a beautiful day. If you liked this practice, I would love it if you could like. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you're interested in learning more about my one-on-one offerings, there is a link to my website in the description below. Thank you so much.